Before I get on with the recap, if you haven't seen this movie yet, what is wrong with you? Have you been living under a rock or something? Come on, get your head in the game. Anyways, pretty much the movie begins. We got Miles. We're introduced to Miles. He's singing a song about sunflowers or something. And he's like, "In a minute," and then we cut to the mom saying, "In a minute," and then he walks away, and like he walking to school or something. He says hi to people, and he like falls over, and his dad picks him up in his car. It's like really embarrassing. He's like, "Say I love you." Not right now, Miles says, but then he says it eventually. But like he's mad, embarrassed at this point. Like, he's mad, embarrassed. It's like really sad too. So, anyways, we get to school. He's like really awkward, can't do anything pretty much. Uh, so then he goes back to his dorm room after like everyone hating him at school. And he's like, "Hey, let's go to my uncle's." So he goes to his uncle's house. He's like, and his uncle's like, "Hey, I want to know how to talk to girls." And be like, go to them, grab their shoulder, and be like, "Hey." Obviously, Miles has no riz, so it fails immediately. But we'll get down to that later. Anyways, they're like, Uncle Aaron's like, yeah, his name's Uncle Aaron, by the way. You go on, and he's like, Uncle Aaron's like, want to spray paint something? He's like, oh, I really shouldn't. My dad, he's like a police officer. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, his dad's a police officer. His mother doesn't really matter at all in this movie, but yeah. So like they like go into the subways and like they start painting this really cool thing. But then a spider comes down and it bites Miles. Guess what? He's got Superman powers, Super Spider-Man powers. It's really cool, I guess. Anyways, what are we on about? Okay, and then what happens is he goes home, like he goes to sleep, and he wakes up. And he's like, my pants are really, I haven't fit in my pants. He's like, oh man, why my thoughts are so loud? And then he meets Gwen Stacy. If you didn't know, is Spider Man. Oh, whoopsie. Anyways, um, so like he tries the hey trick, and he's like, grabs her shoulder very slowly for some reason. It's like, hey. When he tries to let go, his hand catches on her hair, but because he got spider powers, it like sticks to her hair. It's like, oh man, what am I gonna do now? So like they're pulling and pulling, and like everyone's recording it, and it's like mad embarrassing. So they have to like shave it off in like the nurse's office or something. But then like Miles is mad embarrassed, so he's like walking through the hallways, and he's like, "Why are my thoughts so loud?" Which is because like he got spider powers, or it's like spider sense or something, I guess. Anyways, he goes on, and he's like, he looks at like he missed a security guard, and he's like, he knows he snuck out last night to go spray painting with Uncle Aaron. He's like, who is Miles Morales? And so he runs away and goes into the office place. Yes, the office place of the guy who's chasing him. And then he like comes out the window and is like failing to be Spider-Man pretty much, and like he's like slamming into stuff on the wall and like stuff like that. It's like mad embarrassing. I would never personally if I were Spider-Man. Anyways, after that he discovers he has spider powers, and it's like crazy. He's like, I don't want to be Spider-Man. It's like he's like, I don't know, actually no, he doesn't say I don't want to be Spider-Man. It's like I'm not Spider-Man. Like there's no way. So like he goes back to the sewers or like the subway station where he got bit by the spider, finds the spider, and he hears some noises coming from like down the hallway or something. I don't really know. And like he goes to investigate, and like nothing, everything seems to be fine. And all of a sudden, his spider fence goes off, and boom, like big green goblin guy and Spider-Man come flying through the window. Actually, no, this one goes flying through the window, and we see Green Goblin fighting Spider-Man. It's like really cool. Miles is like running away and stuff, and like he's like falling and stuff. Like as he fall, so and then we get on, and like he falls from like really high, but then Spider-Man saves him, and like brings him to some scaffolding. He's like, "Hey, you're like me," because like the spider fences are going off. Oh yeah, there's a really cool thing of like foreshadowing for like the second movie. But yeah, big spoilers for the second movie. Like it goes from green to from green to purple to like red and blue. It's like I guess that's to show like he's Spider-Man, but it also shows that's like the Prowler, I guess, because like in the second movie it turns out Miles is actually the Prowler, which is pretty neat. Anyways, so pretty much he's like, oh, I can after this I can teach you how to be Spider-Man. Turns out, Spider-Man dies. Like, stop playing, dude. I already knew you were gonna die, but like, come on. So like, he dies. And he gives Miles his hard drive, and he's like, destroy the machine. Oh yeah, by the way, they're like over a machine that like opens like gateways to like different dimensions and stuff. Cause like the big dude, Wilson Fisk, I think, is like trying to bring back his wife and his kid because they're dead. So he's gonna bring another one from a different universe to bring him back. Anyways, so pretty much what happens is, Miles like realizes that he's Spider Man. Like he has to train to be Spider Man. So he does the usual Spider Man stuff like jumping off buildings. But although when he did jump off the building, he broke. So actually, Peter gave him a hard drive, right? It was so you could like it was a kill code pretty much to destroy the machine. So he ends up breaking it from falling from the height, which is mad embarrassing. Like imagine this guy, this Spider Man tells you, "Hey, do this one thing before I die," and he's like, "You just break the thing you need to use to destroy the thing." Anyways, so he then goes to Peter Parker's grave, and he's like, "Oh man, I really screwed up, man. What am I gonna do?" And then he turns around. It turns out he has like a like venom powder powers or like electrical powers or something. And like he like shocks this mysterious man behind him. Turns out that mysterious man is Spider Man, but like an alternate universe Spider Man. It's like super neat. Anyway, so, like swing around, he ties up the Spider Man to like a punching bag, I think, and then uh he's like, watch the hands, and he steals the hard drive, but turns out it's broken. He's like, did you break this? He's like, I don't know. I don't know. So like he definitely broke it. So like he's like, so he feels really bad for Miles, so he ends up helping him like make a new one. So they go to this burger shop. He's like tells him like, oh, put baby powder in your suit or something like that to make it better or something. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. So they make it to some like villain place. I don't know. They go to Alchemex. Yes, they go to Alchemex, which is like a Spider-Man thing, I guess. So they go to Alchemex, make a new hard drive to kill the machine, but for they don't they the Spider-Man, we were to call him Peter B. Parker. That's what they call him in the movie. Let's just call him Peter actually. So Peter ends up leaving Miles behind since he's just like a kid and like he has no training whatsoever. But Miles gets bored, so he comes after him, and hijinks ensue. And like find out that Miles can turn invisible, and but he like steal the computer. But also turns out that, well, really what happens is pretty much um okay, let's go back like 30 seconds. Okay, let's go back 30 seconds. Okay, so pretty much what happens is like Peter so Miles turns invisible, but Peter's still visible. So Olivia Octavius walks in, but turns out she's actually Doctor Octopus. So like they like restrain Peter. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna die if you stay in this dimension too long." He's like, "Yeah," but he eventually escapes. They're fighting, but Miles steals the computer. So they start running, but they also bump into Gwen, who, mind you, is Spider Man from a different universe. So they keep on running, and they go into the cafeteria. He steals a bagel. Yeah, real good stuff. And then it's the most important thing of the entire movie. Miles throws a bagel at a scientist, and this changes the course of events. You'll find out in the next episode for Across the Spider Verse. But anyways, and then they go on. The Peter teaches Miles how to swing with swingers, web shooters. Yes, and then Gwen Stacy shows up and like totally defeats Doctor Octavius. So they go on and they go to they're like, who can help us? They're like they go to Aunt May's house. You know Aunt May? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you know. Anyways, they go to Aunt May's house. They're like, hey, you know help us? And then like they take him to the Peter of that universe's like spider lair. That's where they find more Spider-Man. Actually, let's just go over the roster. Okay, so we got Peter B. Parker, Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, Penny Parker, Spider-Man Noir, and Peter Parker. So we got the Spider-Man. They're like, so they start beating up Miles. Oh, I think I forgot to mention Gwen Stacy. Yeah, there's also Gwen Stacy. So they start beating up Miles to like train him, I guess, or something. I don't know. It's pretty stupid. Anyways, they start doing that, and he fails horribly. So like he just leaves. But so like he after he leaves, he just like goes to like his uncle like to talk about things. I guess goes to his uncle's. Turns out, surprise, surprise, his uncle's the Prowler. It's like, it's so he starts trying to kill him. So then he runs back to the spider people after he escapes. Says, "My uncle's the Prowler." Turns out he was followed to Aunt May's house, and hijinks ensue with all the bad guys, including like the Scorpion, Doctor Audio Octavius, and then we also got the Tombstone, the Prowler, obviously. The Prowler's going after Miles, and also for the hard drive, so he can stop the spider people from stopping the machine. So they get to the roof, Miles and the Prowler, and it turns out that like he reveals his identity, and the like, cause they're like nephew and uncle, so like he stops trying to kill him, but the Kingpin does not like this because they're watching away from a car, and he shoots Miles' uncle, and it's like really sad and stuff. I don't really care though, since like it was bound to happen. Like every single uncle in the Spider-Man universe just dies. Anyways, they have an emotional moment, but turns out his dad shows up while he's dying, and I'm pretty sure he thinks Spider-Man did it, although I'm not sure. I think he does. Anyways, so they go back to the spider people, or really he just goes back to his dorm room. He's like, all sad, and then Peter comes in. He's like, "Hey, Miles, one of us has to stay behind to stop it, because, like, yeah, but it can't be Miles because he's not ready, or they think he's not ready. But if someone, Miles is like, if you stay in this dimension, you're gonna die," which is true. I don't know why they didn't just train him more. Anyways, so like all this, like Peter ties him up, but then he has a heart. So the spider people leave, but then they have a heart to heart with Miles has a heart to heart with his dad. It's like throughout the movie, I forgot to mention this. Like they've had like a bad relationship, but they make up pretty much here, but not really because Miles doesn't say anything since that he's like got spider webs all over him. But like they have a really emotional scene, and that like it motivates Miles to just like become Spider-Man. Like he can do all of his stuff on command now. Like he can like electrocute stuff and like turn invisible and stuff. Anyways, so like now that he can do that, he can finally. He goes to Aunt May's. And he gets his iconic suit. And he spray paints it and stuff. And he shows up at the reactor, and like helps fight like all the villains with the Spider People. So after they send all the Spider People home, Miles has the final battle with the Kingpin. So the Kingpin is like literally like a human wall, and like first off, he's like struggling to beat him, and his dad shows up and like motivates him. I guess like the power of friendship or something, or like the power of fatherly love or something like that. Like they defeat the Kingpin, and like it's like he does like the shoulder hey thing. He's like hey, and he like electrocutes him, and he's like dies. He doesn't die, but like he just gets wrecked. They arrest the Kingpin, I think, or something. Yeah, they arrest him. And the day is saved, as they say, until the second movie comes. And the second movie doesn't really. Yes, the second movie will come later, but I'm not sure about now. Yes, this is it. I'm doing this at 3 a.m. Yes, I am. Anyways, um, that's pretty much it. Miguel O'Hara, which is Spider-Man 2099, shows up in the post-credit scene. Uh, I'm pretty sure the credits like foreshadowed the multiverse like travel the second one because like it showed like the spider buggy from like the comics. They also showed like a bunch of Spider-Man, which I guess was like kind of foreshadowing, and then we should have seen that coming. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the Spider-Man recap. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. You can subscribe if you want or like or whatever. Anyways, see ya.